What's up, guys? It's your girl Mookie. Welcome to my channel. I'm kind of new to this whole YouTube thing or whatever. Obviously, I watch YouTube, but I don't make YouTubes or whatever. But anyways, in this video, I'll be covering my fentanyl addiction, how I became addicted to fentanyl, how I got over fentanyl. Um, First things first. Let's get to it. Um, I became addicted to fentanyl from actually, and I know this will be quite a surprise, but a family member, my uncle, so to say, was giving me fentanyl. He had, it's crazy because I know that I had called him asking him if he could find me tabs and perks. And he just was like, no, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I could find this and whatever. So I'm like, oh, because I asked him, like I said, I asked him if he could find tabs or perks. So he replied to me, oh, I got some perks. And I was like, okay, well, what's up? What's the price? This and that. So he gets back to me and he's like, oh, the price is such and such. It's perk 30s, this and that. So me not knowing anything about addiction, I'm thinking, okay, I done come up finding perk 30s for goddamn $10, $15, whatever the fuck he was charging me. I can't even remember. But anyway. So I'm thinking I done came up. So I hit him up and I'm like, okay, well, can you send me one or whatever? So he was like, no, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna sell you none, but I can, you know what I'm saying? I could do something with you or whatever, this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So he does something with me. He busted up or whatever. And I noticed that he kept shaving it off a little bit. I wasn't thinking nothing of it, but he just kept shaving it off. So which I come to find out, which is I'm very blessed that he was shaving off those pieces, and I'm gonna tell you why later on in this video. But um, so he would just shave off a little piece for me. I'll do that shit. I remember I would go home, and I'm not even playing, y'all. I would, after doing this little piece with him, the little piece he shaved off or whatever, I would go home and I would look like I'm on my phone like this, nodding, bro. Right? So a piece of me kind of already knew that it just wasn't a regular Percocet, but at the same time, the only reason I didn't think nothing else of it is because I'd never done a Perc 30, so I didn't think, you know what I'm saying, that it would do me like that. But I also didn't think nothing of it because I didn't know what it could do to me because I never had one. So days passed or whatever. Every time I'd hit him up, I'd be like, bro, can you do a little bit with me? Can you do a little bit with me? Can you do a little piece of me or whatever? Every time I go over there, he's still shaving off a little piece. I never asked him why. I know none of that. He's still just shaving off a little piece or whatever. So okay. So fast forward to about a week later, I hit up a friend of mine, and I was like, "Bro, you know where to find any tabs or perks?" And she was like, "Well, I got some perks 30s," and I was like, "Well, how much are they or whatever?" She was like, "Oh, so and such." She told me the price. So I'm like, okay, I ain't think nothing of it. So whenever I bought it from her, I go to the house. Instantly, I'm shaving off me a little piece, which I knew to do because I seen my uncle shaving off them little pieces. So I already knew once I got home to just shave off just a little bit. So I gets home, I shaves off my little piece or whatever. I go to do my little piece. So I snort it or whatever because I'm a snorter. I ain't gonna lie, I'm addicted to snorting shit. But I did my little piece, I snorted it or whatever. So come the next few days, I'm hitting up my uncle like, bro, you know where to get some perks or whatever. Blah blah blah. This he didn't know where to get any. So that friend I hit up, I hit her up again, and I'm like, bro, can you find me some perks? So she finds me one again. When I come home, I shave a little piece off. I snort it. I flushed it actually. I flushed it in the toilet, and I was like, fuck it, fuck, I need another one. You know what I'm saying? So I hit her up again, like, yo, can you get another 30 or whatever? So she's like, yeah. So I bring it home. I shaves my little piece off, snorts that. I flush it down the toilet because, mind you, I'm throwing up. Everything is all bad. I'm throwing the fuck up real bad. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm finna flush this shit. I don't want no more. So I flush it. About couple hours later, I hit her up again. I'm like, bro, can you please find me another perk? So she's like, I got you. What the fuck you keep doing with these perks or whatever? So I told her, I'm flushing them because they keep making me throw up or whatever. So she finally, oh shit. So she finally, my bad, y'all, my phone was dying. But she finally hit me up for the last time and was like, what are you really doing with these perks? And I was like, bro, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing them, I'm flushing them, this and that, this and that. So the last time I hit her up and I'm like, can you please find me a Percocet? Come to find out, these are fentanyl laced Percocets. Which I mean, I kind of knew because prior to that, I'd had an addiction. 7 months prior, I was addicted for 4 months to tabs, perks, and fentanyl. I woke up one morning and I said, "Look, I don't want no more," and I didn't do anymore. I didn't know withdrawal could happen, none of that. So the next morning comes or whatever, and after I finally, told her, after she told me what was actually in the pills, so I'm like, look, I really want some, which I'm very blessed that I was shaving them into little pieces because had I not been, ain't no telling really what could happen to me because I probably would have overdosed because I did not know. But the only reason I was doing that is because I'd seen my uncle doing it, and I felt like okay, he was doing it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't for shits and giggles that he was sitting here breaking off half little pieces at a time. Like, so I knew better. So I knew okay, it's the reason he's doing this. I really need to, you know what I'm saying, but take into consideration. So, anyways, um, so she had told the day after she told me or whatever that it was fentanyl in it. I just kept buying him and buying him and buying him. So I was addicted for about 3.5 months, and then I remember I'll never forget. It was August 4th. It was the or August 5th. It was the day that I moved here to where I'm at now. It was the day I moved, and I'll never forget because my auntie, she came to help me and my husband move, and she didn't know, you know what I'm saying, like what I was doing or whatever, but she had came to help us move, and she just kept like I was cold sweating. I'll never forget either that morning. I woke up and I don't know what the fuck it was, but something jumped me up out my goddamn sleep, and I hit that motherfucking fan and broke it. It was a black fan. I'll never forget. But I just kept thinking, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, fast forward, we finna move. So my auntie come help us before we move. She come help us, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" Because I was just sweating, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't know." You know what I'm saying? She just kept saying, "Man, you got COVID. You got COVID. You got COVID." And I was like, "Nah, I don't got no COVID. I don't think it's COVID or whatever." I just kept saying, "No, it's not COVID." Mind you, I'm withdrawing. I didn't know it at this point. I did not know I was withdrawing. It took me um well, first let me veer on off to the rest of the story. But she just kept saying, you know what I'm saying, I think you got COVID and this and that. So I was like, no, just gonna help us move or whatever. So she helped us move our shit to this place. So mind you, I kept cold sweat. So when we moved here, I hit up my plug and I'm like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Can you come through? Mind you, I still didn't mention the cold sweats or none of that because at this point I kind of thought, damn, maybe I do got COVID. So motherfucker, I hit him up. This motherfucker hit me back and was like, "What you need or whatever?" And I was like, "Bring me such and such, such and such." So they brought it to me, and I didn't even pay attention to the fact that right after I did it, I wasn't withdrawing anymore. But I didn't pay attention to that because, mind you, I didn't know withdrawal could happen. So at this point, I'm thinking, maybe I did have COVID. I wasn't thinking nothing about withdrawal. So about it took a few more it took another month for me to realize that it was withdrawal because once I hit my friend up and they brought it to me, I still never paid attention to the fact that it went away, like the feeling went away. So I still didn't pay attention. It was a month later. I'll never forget, bro. I was withdrawing bad as fuck. I mean, I was the cold sweats, the feeling like I'm dying on the inside. All I could do was go to the bathroom and scream, "God, please, God, please." And I remember, like, I went to a friend's house. It was an old friend. We had got into it at this point. So I went to her house and I knocked on the door. And she came to it and I was like, "Bro, look, something's wrong with me. I just don't feel right. I feel off. I'm cold sweating. I just feel like I'm dying. Something's not right. Will you please find me a blue?" And she said, "When was the last time you had a blue?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, when was the last time you had a blue? Meaning fentanyl. And at this point, I did know it was fentanyl. So she was like, when was the last time you had any fentanyl, basically? And I was like, it was since yesterday. And so she was like, oh, we need to get you one. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, do you have the money? And I said, yes. And she said, well, let me hit up my dude. And I said, what do you mean? And she was like, let me hit up my dude and I'll find you one. But you're going to have to pay for it. I was like, okay, that's cool. So no sooner than she found it, we went and got it. The moment she came back and I snorted that shit, I had her busted up for me. I was so sick. I was so sick I couldn't even bust up my own pill. I said to her, I was like, you know, can you bust it up for me? I just don't feel right. I don't feel okay. No sooner than she busted that shit up and I snorted it up my nose, I mean 3 seconds fucking later, girl, I was feeling alright. I wasn't cold sweating no more. I wasn't feeling like I'm dying no more, no none of that. So I was like, what's really going on? Because I didn't, it's still, like I said at this point, I didn't understand that withdrawal could happen. So I was like, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? And she was like, honey, she was like, I really hate to be the person to tell you this, but she was like, you're withdrawing. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she was like, you're withdrawing, honey. She was like, you've been on fentanyl long enough to where your body has become dependent on it and you need it now at this point. And at this point, I didn't want it anymore because I remember, and at this point, I was content in my fentanyl addiction that I was just like, fuck it, I'm enjoying this shit. Like, and then I'll never forget the time that I quit, which was January 28th, 2022. I never forget. I was just like, oh fuck, I forgot where I'm going with this story. I should have smoked this one first, but um, I was like just fresh into my sobriety, and I kind of was just like, man, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm kind of losing track because I was just so out there. Like, oh my god, it's just crazy to think now. If you would have ever asked me back in January before I got clean if I could have ever got clean, my honest answer to you would have been no. Because that withdrawal was so fierce, and I didn't even know withdrawal could happen. So that was very traumatizing for me. It was so fierce to the point where I was just kind of like, damn, I've really got to do this. Like, it was at that point where I knew I had no choice but to do it, and I did it. And a lot of people, I've had 5 people quit behind me. One person even getting her children back. It was more than one child, but she got her children back, and that makes me feel. That's another reason. That's another part of my motivation that keeps me going. Like, I really help these people. You know what I'm saying? So if I relapse, these people are gonna think they can relapse, and I don't want that because I always feel like when people say in recovery, oh, addiction is a part. Relapse is a part of recovery. No, it's not. And don't keep telling these addicts that because we're just that. We're addicts. That's another excuse for us to keep using. And you're giving us that excuse. By you saying that, I'm going to take that shit to my full advantage and I'm going to be like, you right. Yeah, that's a part of my recovery. So, snoop, I'm starting up another motherfucking line. Next thing you know, I'm in full blown addict by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Like, no. No, ma'am. No, sir. But since I forgot what I was talking about originally, I'm gonna talk about when I actually quit the fentanyl. I'll never forget the last time I actually snorted a line was January 28th at 9:55 p.m. I snorted that motherfucking line, and that next morning, my aunt, her sister works for the Suboxone clinic, so she had called her or whatever to asking saying my niece really needs help. Can you get her in since that was her sister? So she gets me in. I go to the Suboxone clinic, and I'm not gonna lie, I took it the first day. I took 3 of them, and 4 hours later, I was withdrawing so bad. It was like I'm not even gonna keep taking this shit because if I do, I'm just gonna be withdrawing from this shit. So I knew better. I'm like, no, I ain't taking that. So I did it cold turkey on my own. mind you, okay, I went to the Suboxone clinic. I tried my hardest to get help, and I did. They put me on Suboxone. They gave me Suboxone. And I remember coming home. I wasn't even 24 hours into my withdrawal, and I went and helped a motherfucker find it and everything. Still didn't relapse. But, and mind you, I had only took that Suboxone that first night, the first day. So the next day, I got through all of that on my own. I did this shit cold turkey. Um, and it's been 296 days today that I have not had fentanyl. But I did it like cold turkey. So the next morning I woke up because I went to go get the Suboxone or whatever. Like the lady took me to go get it filled. My auntie's sister, she took me to go get it filled. Um, and everything. Like she brought me home and everything. Like she took me to go get it filled. So we leave the Suboxone clinic and I already know, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had none in a few hours. So I'm needing something. mind you, when I got to the Suboxone clinic, I'm already withdrawing. I'm cold, sweating, everything. Like I'm feeling like I'm death. So I called up my dude after I left, and I'm like, bro, look, meet me at the place across the street from the Suboxone clinic, and we can go from there. So he meets me up, and I'm sitting there. I snort my little line or whatever, and then I'll never forget, bro. I was talking to him, and I was like, he was telling me, oh, something about twitching, and I was like, no, that don't ever happen to me. He was like, you ain't never got 24 hours in, which he was right, and I'm gonna get into that later. But I had left there, and the next morning after, cause mind you, I did fentanyl that day after I left the Suboxone clinic and filled my script, cause I knew I wasn't ready yet. The next morning, I felt like I was ready. So the next morning comes, I take that pill. I took 3 of them. 4 hours later, I was withdrawn like a son of a bitch. A son of a bitch. So, um, I call up the lady who got me the Suboxone with me that worked there. And I'm like, I feel like I'm dying, like this and that, this and that. I'm in the bathroom and all I can scream is, God, please. God, please. Like, it was so bad. And I remember her saying, you got this, this and that, this and that. And she convinced me to take the Suboxone. So I took it, and within that time, I convinced myself already in my head. Even if it wasn't true, I convinced myself. If I take any fentanyl, I'm gonna die instantly because I have this subs in my system. And I convinced myself. I was in. I remember I'll never forget, man. I went to go help this lady get some fentanyl or whatever because I don't like seeing people go through that withdrawal because I know what that's like. So she caught me going through it, and I helped her find something or whatever. And she even bought me one. I ended up selling the one she bought me to her, and um, I did not take the one that she gave me or whatever. I mean, the half that she gave me whenever I busted, because see, she took in my mouth, but because she was withdrawing so bad, she needed to get it in her system ASAP. So she asked me to bust it up for her. So she offered me a little bit that I busted up too, and I was like, no, I'm good. And that's the best decision I'd ever made because here I sit 296 days clean today. I don't even know where that lady is. She might even be dead. I honestly don't know. I really don't. And now that I look back on it, it's just like, damn, I'm glad to be clean. But back to that story whenever I was withdrawing and he said that about the twitching. He said, no, you never got past 24 hours. And I was like, what you mean? And he was like, oh, you'll find out. And gee, when I tell y'all I got to that 36th hour and my motherfucking arm feel like it's for 50 something days. I'm not playing. It took me even 90 something days just to start feeling somewhat normal since I quit. Like, I didn't feel normal. And here I am 296 days in. I still can't get up, clean my house like I would like. I still can't get up and kind of be happy, I guess, in a sense, so to say, as I like. Um, I mean, I really still struggle from it, like, bad. And if there's any one of you who would like to get clean and are scared to go through that, I also have tips on how to quit. I did it cold turkey, but I know tips on how to quit and how to stay clean. Just let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever you have to do. Just comment. I don't even care if you like and subscribe. Just comment. Comment. And I will message you however I have to help you get clean because that's how much it means to me. I don't want anybody to be out here in a situation where they feel like they have to keep using just to stop withdrawal. I mean, I know how bad withdrawal is, especially coming off of fentanyl. You feel like you're dying. You feel like cold sweating. You feel like you're dying on the inside. Your chest feels crazy. You just everything feels off. I know how hard that is. When I tell you, I genuinely felt like I was dying. Like I was calling around, like God damn, when I die. You know what I'm saying? Like it was bad, but I genuinely am here for everybody, and I mean that with everything in my heart. If you feel like you need help and you're scared, please comment. I will reply to you. I will comment. I will message if I can directly without even commenting to embarrass you. I mean, I'm not here for that. I'm here to help. Please, by any means, let me know and I will help. And I mean that with everything in my heart to anybody struggling. And that don't even mean just off of fentanyl. That means anything. Let me know and I will help them to the best of my ability. Please let me know. Y'all have a blessed day. I will speak more on this because right now, obviously, I'm kind of lit trying to talk about it, but I will very, very openly talk about my addiction because that's a part of who I am. And I'm one of those people who don't live my life trying to revolve it around fentanyl. Oh, I can't go here because I might relapse. Oh, I can't go here because they're doing fentanyl. No, I don't do that. I'm gonna go wherever I please because fentanyl doesn't rule me. But if you would like tips and tricks or just even someone to talk to while you're going through the withdrawal, going through this, I am here for you. And I wish you all a very blessed day. And please like and subscribe. And we got this, man. We got this. I'm here for y'all. And I love y'all very much. We got